I have already forgotten everything I've read. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is April and I'm gonna go over my November wrap-up today. I've read 12 books in November. First book I read was The Scoundrel Falls Hard by Sophie Jordan. This book had a lot of potential, but it just didn't quite get there for me. It's about a lady blacksmith, and she one day has a runaway duke who's being chased by a mob in her smithy, and somehow they figure out that if they have a fake marriage of convenience for 1 year, that everything will be better. The plot was weird. I did read it on audiobook, and the audio just wasn't the best, but it was okay. I gave it 2 stars. The next book I read was A Duel with the Vampire Lord by Elise Kova. This is the 3rd book in a series, and this one is about a shield maiden who lives in this village that is constantly attacked by vampires. On this particular year, it's like the blood moon or special blue moon, blah, 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 something like that. And the king of the vampires is supposed to come on this time to attack the village. Her brother is one of the hunters out there, and during a fight with her brother and this vampire, she intervenes and the vampire takes her back to his lair. Of course, there's something special about her, and if at some point it's an enemies to lovers, they fall in love. I think the first one is my favorite. This one was pretty spicy, or a lot spicier for this series, although Elise Kova does not write spice. And I don't know, it was okay. It was good. I give it 3 stars. Next book was probably one of my favorites of the year. It is The Duke in Question by Amelie Howard. I love this book. I love this book. You have a retired spy named the Duke of Thornberry. He is on a passenger ship going to America to try to find this spy who has stolen documents from the Home Office. And then you have Bronwyn, who is the spy he's looking for, but he doesn't know it. And so there's this whole cat and mouse game with them. At some point they do team up. This book is so lovely. It's very spicy. There's a scene in here that will live on forever in my brain. I will never be able to look at a tree again. She is like, I call her like, she has an alpha mouth where she just takes charge and says whatever she wants. And I freaking love that in a main character. And the Duke of Thornberry, he's always one step behind her, and it's just lovely. Top book of the year. Trust me, 5 stars. All the 5 stars. The next book I read was The Return of the Duke, and this one is by Lorraine Heath. Unfortunately, this one I think had a comparison problem with the previous one, because this one again is another kind of like spy story. Someone is trying to assassinate the queen, and then they're trying to thwart that mission. It wasn't as good as the Amelie Howard one, and I read these pretty much back to back. So it's not a bad book by any means, but the Amelie Howard one just does it so much better for me. I love like a snappier plot. I love like characters who play more with each other and banter more with each other. And these two are just very adult. I just need a little bit more quirky funness, you know? So this was a 3-star for me. I still really liked it. I think if you love historicals and you love Lorraine Heath, this one is great. The next book I read was another fantasy, and this is What Lies Beyond the Veil by Harper L. Woods. This one, Jess from Honest Fiction raves about, so I've been dying to read this one. It's about a girl who does not have a very good life. She is offered up to be a sacrifice to give more power to the wall that protects them against the Fae, and as she's being sacrificed, the wall comes down and things happen, and now she's hunted by the Fae, and she's running away in the human realm trying to survive. And this one had a lot of twists and turns in it. I mean, you could tell who the romance hero is right away, at least I could. But I was still really intrigued by it, and I'm still really excited to read the next book. This one I gave 4 stars. Next book I read was Funny Feelings by Tara DeWitt. This book is about 2 comedians. One is a former comedian. He is a single father as well to a deaf child. And then he is managing another up-and-coming comedian who has just landed her first big-time gig with some other female comedians. They have been asked to come up with a PR stunt to kind of promote their comedy show that they're going to do, and the PR stunt is that they fake date each other. These are also 2 people who have been friends for a long time, so it's a friends to lovers romance, and there is so many wonderful things being said in this book about mental health. It really is a beautiful book. It made me want to cry, which is probably why I will never read it again. I don't like crying in books. It's not fun for me. I don't regret it. I really love this one, and I think everyone should read it. It's a wonderful book. 5 stars. The next one I read is Cinderella and the Duke, and this one is by a new author to me, Lydia Drake. I actually read this as a NetGalley arc. I don't remember when it comes out. I'll put the date on the screen. But this one was so cute. It was a Cinderella retelling that knew it was a Cinderella retelling, and it was cute. There was so much banter. I really loved it. If you're looking for a nice light rom-com historical romance, definitely check this out. Yeah, I loved everything about this book. 4 stars. The next one I read was another NetGalley, and a buddy read this with my Instagram pal Rose. Curled Up with an Earl by Amy Rose Bennett. This is the second book. The first book was Up All Night with a Duke. That one I loved. I gave 5 stars. This one I think was just too much of a slow burn for me. I love a snappier plot, and this one had a lot of slow moments. I think halfway through it started picking up a lot, and I really enjoyed the latter half of it rather than the beginning half. But I still really liked it as a whole. I think Amy Rose Bennett has a really great way with words, and this one is really sweet as well. Oh, this one is a murder mystery, and again they have this whole Byronic book club tie-in that all the ladies are in. There's a lot of sciencey stuff in this one. It's quite sciencey. and the 2 main characters were both sweethearts. They were both super sweet, and I kind of just need one of them to not be sweet, and I think that's again just another personal preference for me, but it was still a very good book, and I would still really recommend it if you love a slow burn romance and murder mystery with 2 very sweet characters in it. Next book I tried to read but I ended up DNFing is Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. There's nothing wrong with this book. I'm sure it's great. I just really hated the audiobook narrator for this, so I stopped it. She was very flat. There was no inflection between the characters. I couldn't keep paying attention. So I would rather read this one in ebook form rather than audiobook. So I'm gonna not read it for now. I just don't have time in December to read it, I don't think. So I'm gonna put it down. This was about a tree farm owner who is not having the best of luck. She signs up for a giveaway for an influencer, and she tells when she's signing up, she says she has a boyfriend. She owns this tree farm with her boyfriend. So now she has to fake date one of her friends in order to try and win this prize money to save her tree farm. I'm sure it's really cute. I'm sure it's really nice. I just wasn't into it. At least I wasn't into the audiobook. Okay. Another 5-star for me, A Matter of Temptation by Stacey Reed. This one was so good. This one was great. In the beginning, her brother is supposed to duel a duke, and instead she slips some laudanum in his drink, and then she takes his place and duels the duke in disguise. So during the duel, he kind of figures out that Mina is Mina, and then instead of, being mad, he offers her a job as his secretary. And so it's a workplace romance, and these two just cannot stay away from each other. There's great banter. I love how bold she is, and I love how he gives directions and it's like, do this now, and it's so hot. I really loved this one. Another contender for top books of the year, and I really liked it. My last read is actually one that I'm not quite done with yet. It's A Curse of Blood and Stone by K.A. Tucker. I'm really enjoying it. It's the second book in a series, maybe a duology. I don't know if there's going to be more or not. Yeah, it's one of those fantasies that is about fae and politics and all the kind of stuff that I love, that I just live for. But in the first book, Romy is taken to another realm against her will, and when she gets there, she's in the body of another person. That person has killed a king and queen and is supposed to be marrying a prince. Only she has no recollection of ever doing this, and everyone hates her. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you've read any of these books and if you also like them or dislike them as well. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.